Hello, ladies and gents of YouTube. I don't do this sort of YouTube commentary thing, but I might as well start to. Because recently a thing has happened that really rustled my jimmies. Yes, I am talking about the infamous Shirtstorm. Now, some of you might not know what this all is about, so let's start from the beginning, shall we? On the 12th of November, the European Space Agency's probe Rosetta successfully placed a landing module on the comet 67P. Yes, that's right. Humans landed a motherfucking probe on a motherfucking comet. Why do I stress that, you might ask? Because it's the first such landing ever. So you can imagine this was kind of a big deal, not just in the scientific community, and the scientists involved were interviewed during the final hours before the landing. One of the scientists interviewed was Dr. Matt Taylor. And now we get to the core of the damned Shirtstorm. Dr. Taylor wore this shirt. It has some women in catsuits with guns. Basically something that looks like it fell straight out of an 80s action movie. Now, you might think that person, a human being, is entitled to wear whatever they want to, right? And in this case, where the guy in question is heavily tattooed, and by the way, Dr. Taylor, showing his dedication to the mission, has actually had a tattoo of the Rosetta probe done on his thigh, which is kinda cool. So you'd think that when this obviously not your stuck-up scientist in a white lab coat wears something complementary to his wealth tattoos, nobody would bat an eyelid, right? Oh boy, you would be mistaken! Because guess who? Our dear friends, third wave hyperfeminists, SJWs and other assorted morons did. And it didn't stay at just batting eyelids, so no. The next day, The Verge issued an article titled "I don't care if you landed a spacecraft on a comet, your shirt is sexist and ostracizing." And the link itself to that article is "Your bowling shirt is holding back progress." Okay, before I start, this article was written by two people, Chris Plante and Ariel Duhaime-Ross, however you pronounce that. That's two people, and both of them thought, yep, this is the title we're gonna use, it's perfectly fine.
This is the sort of casual misogyny that stops women from entering certain scientific fields. They see a guy like that on TV and they don't feel welcome. They see a poster of greased up women in a colleague's office and they know they aren't respected. They hear comments about bitches while out at a bar with fellow science students and they decide to change majors.
Oh god. What sort of person would you have to be to just change majors because of... Oh, now I know where all those degrees in communications came from.
And those are the women who actually make it that far. Those are the few who persevered even when they were discouraged from pursuing degrees in physics, chemistry and math throughout the high school.
Well, wow. Who should they be discouraged by? Teachers? Those same people who are actually trying to teach them at least something? Or are there special commissions going around the schools and telling young girls they should stop studying science because the world needs more feminists?
These are the women who forged on despite the fact that they were told by elementary school classmates and the media at large that girls who like science are nerdy and unattractive.
Oh yeah, unlike those nerdy guys who are into computers, right? Those quote-unquote gamers.
This is the climate women who dream of working at NASA or the ESA come up against every single day. This shirt is representative of all of that, and the ESA has yet to issue a statement or apologize for that.
Okay, wow, let me say, what a fucking idiot wrote this article. Well, unfortunately, they weren't alone. Apparently the good idiots, I mean SJWs of Twitter, got together and dogpiled poor Matt with messages of hate about how his shirt is misogynist. Well, if you ever want to point out a textbook case of bullying, here you have one. So logically, thanks to this terrible shirt, no woman can get into science anymore. Ever. Because this shirt is so offensive and women-hating. Cursed be the damn cisgender privileged white male who devised it. Curse that damn basement dweller. Oh wait, it was a woman! Yep, that's right. Matt got this customized shirt from his female, and for all people from Tumblr, that means a woman, okay? I know you are kinda lost in the midst of your 87 genders, so female means woman, right? For clear? Okay. So, he got this from his friend Elly Prizeman for his birthday. And as you can now probably tell, the reason if any why he wore it is quite obvious. It was a big day and he just wanted to show he cares for this woman enough to wear the shirt she made for him on this special occasion. There's nothing else in it. No misogynist subtext whatsoever, you bloody morons. But, unfortunately, the righteous efforts of the valiant SJWs were enough to successfully hunt Matt to apologize publicly.
Last but certainly not least for our lineup is Matthew Taylor. Matt, how is this? Maybe it's too early to really say how the science is comparing with that from the Rosetta orbiter, but perhaps you'd like to give us a bit of an overview of how it's going to compare with the data that we collect from the orbiter.
Okay, the shirt I wore this week, I made a big mistake and I've offended many people, and I'm very sorry about this.
Look at him. The man is crying. Is this it? You made a grown man cry! Are you fucking pleased with yourself now? Oh, of course not. More later? What? He shouldn't be apologizing in the first place. Phew, okay. Let me get this straight. I'd like to make a brief pause here for people to realize something. The Rosetta mission started in 2004. 20 That's 10 years. During that time, the probe made several orbits around the Earth, performed a flyby of Mars and several asteroids, took photos of the surface of Mars, and used, and I like this part, I totally love this part, and used the gravity of several planets as slingshots to accelerate to the speed necessary to get to the right place when the comet would have arrived there months later. That's fucking huge. Just the amount of calculations that were necessary for this to work must have been astounding. And let me stress this. 10 years. 10. In 2004, the younger, progressive, empowered, more equal than others young hyperfeminists and SJWs were starting puberty, probably not even knowing what a comet is. So a man works on a team to get a probe to a comet. Something nobody did before, and the only thing you bring out of this is that his article of clothing is somehow oppressing you. Do you see how much of an imbecile you are? See, the hypocrisy on this is through the fucking roof. So basically, when you're saying that all this dogpiling is justified because of the sexism contained in his shirt, are you saying that it's his fault because of what he was wearing? Now where did I hear that before? Oh, you know what? Dear hyperfeminist friends, we probably shouldn't tell our scientists to not wear tacky shirts. We should teach you to not yell at our scientists because of what they are wearing. Because women shouldn't be criticized for their choice of clothing, but men totally can and should, in fact, right? And not just for shirts depicting women, mind you. Mark Zuckerberg, as much as I don't like him, was recently criticized for even a stupider thing. For wearing grey shirts. Idiots! Thankfully, Twitter is also a home to normal, decent people, many of whom decided to not let poor Matt just drown into hate and showed him some impressive support, utilizing the hashtag I'm not offended and even creating a petition to honor his accomplishments. Also of note is Christina Hoff Sommers, who also condemned this hyper-feminist extravaganza. Someone then found out where the original shirt line is sold and passed around a link to the shop. Guess what? Already sold out. And Elly Priceman is considering making more of her customized versions too. But to get to the real point of this video, personally, I cannot help but feel genuinely sorry for this guy. Try to imagine yourself in his position. Just look. This is what he said in the interview.
This is going to be a very long day, but a very exciting day, and I think everyone should enjoy it because we're making history.
And then these people, these bloody idiots without a bit of shame, these bigots, these self-important assholes, jumped in and totally destroyed everything. It was his big day, no doubt the day he was looking forward to for months, maybe years, I don't know, and these morons just destroyed it in a blink of an eye. This is the problem with them. They do not care about science, about you, or what are you doing. They care only about themselves, about whatever they can find to pick and shame. So when it comes to it, the best thing for them is if their target is someone who actually achieved something, because that way they kill two birds with one stone. They assassinate the character of their target, while at the same time propagating their bullshit propaganda and putting themselves into spotlight, because that's what they want to. As Dan Wawra said, Matt shouldn't have ever apologized for this, because this is what happens once you do that. These damn imbeciles happily swarm you again and demand more, because you have stepped back once. You already caved in. You will do it again. These are people without any real practical use, merit or success. They are threatened by people with skill. They don't have any real problems in their lives, so they must go and create new ones, however banal and unimportant, to validate their otherwise pointless existence.